I'm thinking Brandon Staley isn't going to like this news. What's up, everyone? I'm Grant Cohn. I want to introduce you to Hunter J. Howard, guard/tackle from Northeast Mississippi Community College. Jay, how you doing?
What's going on, man? I'm great. How are you, Grant?
I'm good. It's nice to wake up first thing in the morning and have some news. The 49ers have hired Gus Bradley to their defensive coaching staff. They haven't said exactly yet what his role is, but he was a head coach. He's been a defensive coordinator, hasn't been a position coach since like I was in college, probably since you were in grade school. I'm thinking maybe he'll be the assistant head coach, something important, but you got another guy with head coaching and coordinator experience on the staff. What do you think?
Man, I don't know. I think he'll play like another Brandon Staley role, like, just a brains of the operation, maybe a position coach, anything like that. I mean, they have a corner position. They have that open, so maybe he'll play cornerback role, or he'll, be Brandon Staley's type, take his spot in the front office or coaching staff. That's whatever I think about it. It's just another guy from the outside they're bringing in for Saleh to, just bring in some more continuity with Saleh in the defense.
Yeah, it's sort of like building out the brain trust, right? And last year with the defense, the brain trust was Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley, who maybe, individually they're both really smart, but they didn't know each other before the season. And I don't know, maybe they worked really great together, but the results weren't great. And I think it's at least now you have the top two guys on defense go back 15 years, speak the same language, have the same philosophy. I never understood the Staley thing. It's like he's a 3-4 coach. What is he really? What did he do? I never understood that.
Experience, like, he's played, more of the AFC teams, and maybe that was his role, giving insight and stuff like that. And the assistant coach giving him a title, giving him some money. Basically, that's what I think.
What's nice about the assistant head coach job is I think they get a lot of money. I think it's more than being like the linebacker coach.
Yeah, I think that's why they fired what's that other guy that's in
Washington now? Steve Lynn.
Yeah,
I mean Anthony Lynn. Sorry,
Anthony Lynn. Yeah, I think that's why they got him, because they're paying him a lot of money to be running backs coach.
Yeah, and they wanted to take that job away and bring in Brandon Staley. And you can always entice someone who was a coordinator or fringe coordinator head coach with that job. But I was wondering, what does the assistant head coach do? Help game plan.
Hey man,
give a speech.
We should run this. We should.
No, so okay, this year Brandon Staley was running that ball meeting. Remember they talk about that with the Niners. Every Thursday, they talk about the importance of not turning the ball over and the importance of taking the ball away, as if that needs to be. Okay, so in 2023, it was Sorensen who did that meeting. 2024 was Staley. Now, could be Gus Bradley.
Could be. Like hey, man, we got to get turnovers. We got to do this week. We got to do it. Come on, guys, let's do it. Woo! Yeah, that's probably what.
Do you ever have a coach come and talk to you guys? Well, you're an offensive lineman. But do you ever get that speech from coaches about, like, the importance of the ball?
Not really. We just block. We just, offensive line, we got to block. We got to secure our blocks for the running back. We got to take care of the quarterback. Let's do it. Break. Like, that's all we get, really. It's different. Offensive line is really isolated, kind of.
Well, look, I don't know if Gus Bradley's going to be the missing piece for the Niners Super Bowl run, but I think it does kind of highlight how ridiculous the Niners coaching staff was last year. This is a lot.
Yeah, it's like
they're serious.
It's crazy. It was just bringing in all these kind of guys, firing Steve Wilkes after a great defensive run, like, it was kind of like just mind-blowing, really. Very strange.
Now, I'd rather have Saleh and Bradley than Wilkes, but they could have held on to Wilkes for 2 years. I mean, the whole 2024 experience was strange. It didn't really need to go down like that. I felt like the whole team kind of took the year off after losing that Super Bowl. Like, all those guys held out. I don't know. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Let's get to another rumor that's kind of interesting. Matthew Stafford may not be back with the Rams next year. He's acting like he's upset about the Cooper Kupp trade that's coming on. But it was also reported earlier in the offseason that he was saying he may not know if he's going to retire or not. And really quickly, Sean McVay, who's a tough personnel guy, said, well, he better figure it out because we're not going to do this dance all offseason. So if he wants an extension, he's going to use some leverage to get it. The Rams just might trade him.
Yeah.
Um,
His wife
do
also
you think the
came.
Niners should get him? How do you think this affects the Niners?
I think it gives them more like, more advice to, address the quarterback position right away. It gives
Yeah.
them, like, hey, we should do something. We should finally, expand, contract talks with our quarterback and see what we're gonna do. Are we gonna do it? Are we not? Are we playing with them or what? Or what are we gonna do? Are we gonna extend Purdy now or just let him play out the deal until next year? Like, and that's just what I think about all that.
It's a big opportunity for the Niners. It seems like it'd be hard to trade Stafford and get better, but at the same time, they're going to get a lot younger. And what's interesting about teams like the Niners, the Rams, the Packers, these are all run first teams, and they all have like pocket quarterbacks. You
Yeah.
wonder if the Rams can kind of like get a guy, maybe not like Jaden Daniels, but someone like Bo Nix, who's more of a rushing threat, like what that would do for that offense. I bet you they're going to go in that. I feel like that's the future for all these Shanahan McVay disciples is like, you got to get a quarterback who's mobile as well. I mean, every team has one except for Stafford's not really going to run for many yards. And Purdy, I mean, if he does, he gets hurt, it seems like.
He's
I don't
just
know.
sneaky. Purdy's just
He's
sneaky.
small. The problem with Purdy is he's small. He is mobile.
Yeah.
It's just like if you run him 7 times in a game, you're like, you get nervous.
Who is he gonna, is his ribs gonna get ruptured again or like,
Yeah.
what, is his
That's the
shoulder
problem.
shoulder,
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah. Can he take the contact? Which is why I don't think they've ever called his own read for him on the team. Have they? Maybe one.
I don't think so. I haven't seen any of that since Trey Lance team, to be honest.
Yeah. I just wondered it like, are they going to go that direction, the Rams, or are they going to bring in Kirk Cousins or something? I just, it's going to be an interesting little maneuver for them. What are they going to do? Maybe Cousins.
I think
what would you do if
go
you're the Rams?
Cousins route. I mean, because it's either Cousins or nobody else. They're not gonna Stafford. No, I don't think they're gonna bring in Stafford or Sam Darnold or anything like that. I think they'll take a shot at Cousins.
What do they get? Aaron Rodgers.
It's over with Aaron Rodgers. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's over with him. It's over with. It's done. Right, Rodgers' time is up.
Yeah, it is. His time is up. Although I think I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. I'll say that.
Yeah, he is more talented than Cousins for sure.
Cousins is washed. Of the old quarterbacks coming off torn ACLs, Achilles, I'll take Rodgers.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Something for the Niners to monitor because this is the team the Niners have to go through. Okay, let's talk NFL honors last night. They were awarded. And it wasn't just all about Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Oh, no. It was about the MVP, the coach of the year. I'll say these were the winners. MVP, Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson. What do you think of that right off the bat?
I think he was robbed. I think Lamar, I think he should have been back-to-back MVP. He had better overall numbers than Josh Allen this year. I've seen it. He had more passing yards, more everything almost. I seen a 1-to-1 ratio. I think Lamar should have won it again. I think they just gave it to Josh, give him some more accolades out there for make him feel good about it, make him feel good about it. That's what I think.
It felt like the sympathy vote. It was like, well, Lamar's won 2 and Josh hasn't won 1 yet. So it kind of felt like a lifetime achievement award or a sympathy award. Sorry, Josh. We really think you're great and you haven't won 1 yet. So maybe you should have won 1 last year. Here's this year's.
It's like he's in the race every year. He never wins anything.
He never wins anything.
MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, in the playoffs, lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like.
But that being said, I think it's really funny how like all season in the regular season, people are talking about how Mahomes is overrated. There are all kind of stats about it and talking about how really Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen could do a lot better if they were in Mahomes' situation with Andy Reid and stuff. And then both of them pretty much blew it with the game on the line in the playoffs. And Mahomes is right back in the Super Bowl like he always is. It's like, oh, wait, yeah. Oh, wait, he's the MVP. Oh, right. Every year.
It's like the years he's in the Super Bowl, he's never in the MVP race because it's like they just win. He's not just beating everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the only one that won the MVP and won the Super Bowl in the same year, 2022. So it's like it's kind of weird how that works.
What I think so interesting about the Chiefs is that like they lost 2 games this year. They're the best team in the league, and no one from their team was really honored.
Nope.
Andy Reid didn't win Coach of the Year. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even in the running for MVP. Spagnuolo didn't win coordinator of the year. They just
Nope.
somehow won all the games except for 2, and the league's like, yeah, whatever.
I know. I was thinking about that too. I was like,
it's like,
they're in the race every year, and none of their players are getting honor. I don't even think they had many Pro Bowlers, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's so strange. So I'll keep going down the list of. Hold on, I lost my list. Where's my list?
MVP and then Offensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year.
Okay, here we go. Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell, Vikings. I would assume just because of what he did with Sam Darnold, which is legit. But I would have given it to one Andy Reid or Dan Quinn.
I think Dan Quinn, I think they should have had both of those guys win from out of Washington because he did a lot with a rookie quarterback. He was just at LSU down there playing, and now he's in the NFC Championship game. Dan Quinn did a lot, and he signed better players than the 49ers did. They got Adam Peters over there. They signed Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, all these kind of guys, all these good guys that helped him.
Well, clearly, the voters must have felt that Jaden Daniels was the big catalyst with the Commanders. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year. But I mean, I think with who won the Coach of the Year? Okay, with O'Connell, I think what's so funny about it is they're basically saying okay, Darnold's trash. Look what O'Connell did. We all know Darnold's trash. We saw it by the end of the season. So I guess that's legit, but it's always funny what the basis for what they use their vote on Coach of the Year.
Who does the least? Who does the most with the least? I think that's what they do it.
And people are very surprised that Sam Darnold did anything this year. That's legit.
Exactly.
That's legit.
That's how they base it off of.
Yeah. Okay. And then after that, Assistant Coach of the Year, Ben Johnson.
Pretty obvious. Obviously. It could have been Aaron Glenn over him. They changed that entire organization to how it is now.
Yeah, you could argue it should have been Aaron Glenn considering his whole defense was hurt.
Yeah, the entire defense was gone. And they still were, in the playoffs and the running. We're won 14, 15 games in regular season. So, yeah, I think so.
Comeback Player of the Year, Joe Burrow, which I don't understand.
5,000 yards after tearing his wrist up 2 years ago, 2023. So,
Okay, so the award is coming back from an injury.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain II.
Did you see how it said Myles Garrett on the thing? It said Myles Garrett, but
I didn't see that.
Obviously,
I wasn't watching.
I wasn't watching either, but I seen it on Twitter. It was Myles Garrett, and then PS2 was up there, and it's that's not Myles Garrett.
Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley. Duh. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse. Interesting.
It could have been either one of those guys, to be honest. It could have been Fisk, Chop Robinson, him.
Yep.
Any of those guys, like he said.
Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean from the Eagles, and Edgerrin Cooper from the Packers. Niners could have used Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker.
They could
have Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels. Not one Niner nominated.
For nothing.
For nothing.
For the first few weeks of the season, I thought Fred Warner was in the running. He was on a roll those first few weeks. And then he got hurt and then played on it. So
yeah, the 5 finalists for Defensive Player of the Year were Surtain, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Kirby Joseph. Not Bosa.
Not
Those
Warner.
Days are not Warner. Okay. And you know what? Offensive Player of the Year. Hold on. 5 finalists for Offensive Player of the Year: Barkley, Chase, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. See, I don't know. They gotta decide: is the Offensive Player of the Year a quarterback award or not? I feel like Kittle should have been one of the top 5 Offensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean?
I think Offensive Player of the Year is kind of like MVP. It's the same thing, but it's
that's what I thought it's become. There's the MVP for the quarterbacks and the Offensive Player of the Year for the non-quarterbacks. So exactly. I feel like Kittle got screwed a little bit. He had a great year.
He had a great year.
Yeah. Speaking of Kittle, it's been reported that the Niners are beginning to negotiate an extension with him. He said this yesterday. He said he thinks that his agent is. He's funny. What do you think about what the Niners may end up having to pay Kittle?
I think they'll end up paying it more than Kelsey. He'll be the highest paid tight end. I think that's what they're going to do. Extend him about 2-3 years. Give him some more cash in pocket, some more salary. I think Kelsey gets 16 a year, so I think they'll up it.
17, 16, yeah.
Yeah, they'll up it to that market, that same.
I'm sure he'd love to make $20 million a year just to reset the market for tight end university, but I don't
He
think
might.
he's going to.
He might because he changed the game for tight ends. Is what he changed the game for sure. Him and Kelsey.
I feel like he's improved as he's gotten older. Like when he was young, they wouldn't really go to him in the red zone very much. Now he's clearly their red zone go-to guy.
And he has probably the best hands on the team besides Jennings. I think Jennings and Kittle have the best hands on the team.
Yeah, when he was like 25, 26, he wasn't necessarily like a contested catch guy, Kittle, which was weird because he's 6'5". He was more like the get him in space and he'll run you over.
Yeah.
But as sort of Deebo took that role from him in the offense, he developed into the contested catch guy, even better than, well, Jennings is pretty good too.
Yeah, Jennings he's that guy for sure.
What's funny about Kittle and Jennings being your top two targets in the offense, all year people were complaining about separation. Like, man, these guys aren't getting open. Man, it's Kittle and Jennings. Like, they're open, even if they're not creating separation, and they're catching the ball. Like, it's kind of a disingenuous stat. Offense. Yeah.
Like, you can't have two guys when you have all these other all-pro guys and then in the wings, all-pro. Deebo Samuel.
Yeah. It's tough when you have that much money not producing. Ayuk and Deebo. That's rough. What do you think of Pearsall?
I think he was doing good. I think Shanahan, he shadows rookies like you talk about all the time. He shadows rookies until he has to play them. He has to shine like towards the end of the season when they were already out of the running. So, I mean, yeah, but
we've seen Shanahan do this to receivers before. He did it to Ayuk when he was young, his second year. It's like, all right, you can play, man. You'll be running routes, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to be in the progression. And Roddy White came out and talked about, I don't know if you saw this, he did a TikTok. He was like, man, when Kyle first got to Atlanta, he was saying that he was going to turn us into the Warriors, and I was going to be Klay Thompson to Julio Jones, Steph Curry, and then I was out there, and I was just running routes, and I wasn't in the progression, and it wasn't like we practiced it. So Kyle can be kind of petty if he doesn't want to use you. And I think, like you said, with rookies, he doesn't want to use you unless he has to. Then they got eliminated. Deebo kind of got embarrassed, and they started calling Pearsall's number. I don't know. He looked explosive to me. I don't know if he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but he better than Deebo.
I think he'll be a good number 3 to Kittle and Jennings next year. That's what I think.
I agree. That's a nice little trio, I think. You could do worse.
That's the future right there, really.
What's nice about that trio is it's pretty cheap. If only you don't have to pay for Deebo and Ayuk.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. They paid.
Yeah.
They should have just traded Deebo, to be honest, get some assets, get another young receiver, young tight end or something. I think they should have never did that. They should never pay Deebo.
Speaking of trading Deebo, do you think they can anymore? Do you think that market's still there?
I think there is market for him, like, Deebo Samuel, just because of the name and what he did a couple years ago. But I don't think they will because of what they said. And they like to, and that's Kyle's buddy. That's his friend. Like you say, like they say, oh, they all call him Kyle. They don't call him Coach Shanahan. They don't call him Coach Kyle. They call him Kyle. So I think that's it. But they're not going to trade him. They're not going to trade Kyle's buddy.
I think they're going to trade him. That sounds weird. I think they're going to trade him. I think they will. And I think it's not, because I get the feeling that Deebo doesn't want to be here anymore. Because he's smart. He can see, he knows he's getting phased out. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be, I mean, it's going to be kind of embarrassing when he's losing snaps to Pearsall and when Ayuk comes back and he's just a kick returner. So I think he probably would like an opportunity somewhere where he can get some more targets before he hits free agency next year. So I wonder if he said like, hey, get me out of here. I wonder.
Trade for me, AJ.
Trade me out. Get me out of here. And they're like, look, we'll try. Just keep your mouth shut and don't say anything like Cooper Kupp did. I wonder. And then I wonder also, getting traded could kind of suck because you could get traded to
New York.
You could get traded to New York. You could get traded to the Jets. I'd rather like get cut.
Yeah, and then see what your market is and see, where you.
How do you get cut? You show up to the Super Bowl looking a little out of shape.
AJ Brown,
pull up to the Super Bowl looking a little bit like a fullback.
Yeah, it's like as soon as the season's over, he just lets himself go and then tries to pay him in July.
Yeah,
I think that's what
which you could probably do when you're 25.
Yeah, but he's what 28 now, 27.
He's about to be 29. He just turned 29.
Ooh, yeah, so you can't do
that anymore.
It's now, not 2020 no more. It's not 2021 anymore.
That's the thing. If I were another team, like another GM, Adam Peters, who knows him or whatever, I'm not trading for Deebo Samuel.
No. Why? And he's been here since his downfall. Peters was here last year, 2023.
The Niners would have to pay his whole salary.
The entire salary. He'll be a dead
the whole
cap.
Thing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to be really like the Raiders could use Deebo.
Yeah.
The Raiders could use him.
They do.
You'd have to have nothing.
Literally nothing. They got nothing.
Literally nothing.
Who's their quarterback?
Yeah, Raiders could use him.
Who's the receivers? Who?
I don't know.
That's a garbage. There, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, they got Chip Kelly, man. Don't worry about it. They're good.
Woo! Chip, yeah.
I have a friend I grew up with, and Kevin, who is a big Raider fan. Whenever they do something, I always text him. I'm like, Chip Kelly? He's like, why do you expect this team to do smart things? This team is stupid. It's like, yeah, well, you root for him. I don't know.
There's no way. Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, this is not 2015.
It's the future. They were the two best coaches in the Pac-12 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
All right, more news from the Super Bowl. George Kittle and Fred Warner both going on Kay Adams' show. She instigated it. Gotta love her. Said, what do you think about Myles Garrett? And they both were like, yeah, I'm all about trading for great players. Kittle even said he would be Myles Garrett's friend, and he gave him a thumbs up. What do you think about the Niners recruiting pitch to Myles Garrett?
I think they're not going to get him. I don't think they should get him to, be in the running, have a good defense again with, everybody coming back solid. They brought in Bradley, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, they should, but I don't think it's going to happen. And it's kind of cool. It's funny. The most vocal guys on the team. Come on, Myles. Come on. Let's do it. Let's go. Come here.
What I think is fun, interesting about it is like he's not a free agent. So in a sense, they're not really recruiting him or pressuring him.
Yeah.
They're pressuring the front office. Like, we want this.
Yeah.
We give you the green light to trade this future rookie for a future Hall of Famer. Go ahead and do it. And I think they won't either. But I do think it's interesting that two captains are kind of like publicly, politely pressuring the front office to do something drastic. I also think these guys are gonna. Did you hear what Fred Warner said? He was like, "Me and George will take a little bit out of our contract to make it happen." He really said that.
He said that.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm volunteering George. We'll take a little bit out of our deal." It's like, sure, Fred. Well, if you said it,
I don't think George will do that. Fred might, but he's up for an extension. He might want an extension after the season. He has no guaranteed money next year.
Well, Myles Garrett would make Fred Warner's life a lot easier.
Yeah,
he would make him some money. True. Yeah. Some people say, "Yo, you can't do that. He's not one. You're not one player away. You could have two great defensive ends and not defend the run." Those are valid points. My counter is, it's Myles fucking Garrett.
Yeah, it's the
my counter.
Year he's had 11 plus sacks every year.
Yeah, you're not going to get a better player than him in round one.
You're not. It's a future Hall of Famer. They're not going to get a Myles Garrett at 11. They're going to have to trade up or get the Myles Garrett. There's only one Myles Garrett.
And it's like, to me, it's, as long as you're committed to George Kittle, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, who else is old on this team? That's a core member. Warner's getting older. As long as you're committed to that, what is the point of bringing in a 22-year-old who might be great but may not even play this year?
Yeah, because of how
don't you need to? Don't you need to win the Super Bowl right now? Isn't this the end of the window for this core that you've held on to forever?
You see where George said, "Man, you can kick a window open at any time. You can kick through a window."
Yeah, if you're 27.
Yeah.
You're about to be 32, George. I mean, I'm trying to help you out. This could be the last hurrah for you. Although tight ends seem to age kind of gracefully. He's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. I remember you wanted to trade him a couple years ago, but
yeah. See, I was like, man, his game's all built on physicality, gets hurt a lot, Rob Gronkowski, yada, yada, yada. I was wrong. Good for George. He's really found a way to like become even more durable as he's gotten older.
Yeah. And
I mean, he's always kind of hurt, but he plays through it.
Yeah. He played through a lot this year. It's like every other week I'm seeing George Kittle didn't practice. Oh, he's questionable. It's like, dang. He's going to play.
He just said on the Kay Adams show that he was playing through broken ribs for like most of the season. I can't imagine.
Years ago as well. He said that he's playing through rib stuff every year. He said that. a few years ago, I heard it's like these guys play through everything. And it's not even that physical anymore. And they just,
I just think it's funny that he waited till after the year to reveal it, and Fred Warner was like, "Hey, reporters, write this down. Broken ankle. I'm a savage."
I'm standing right here. I have a fractured ankle right now.
I want you guys FRAC. Write it down. All day, every day. Kim says, "Do you think Russell would be the best quarterback for Kyle?" No. Because Kyle wants to call those 10 to 15-yard throws over the middle off play action over and over and over again, and Russell can't even see the receiver over there. He doesn't throw over the middle. No.
He's a deep shot, or he's going to get out the pocket type of guy.
The best quarterback for Kyle, his name is Kirk. No, it's Brock. All day, every day, Kim says, if Kyle ran Brock like he did Trey, Brock would be in a wheelchair. It's true. That's why he doesn't. Tony B says, let me get a McDebo with a large tang. Oh, it's rough. Okay. Real quick, let's check out BetUS sponsoring our segment here. These are the Aaron Rodgers odds. Will he retire by free agency in 2025? No is the minus 260. Yes is plus 170. You think Aaron Rodgers will retire?
I don't think so. I think he'll come back one more year with this new staff they got in New York.
You think so?
Yeah, and then they'll draft a guy. Yeah, I think they'll draft a guy after this season when they have a higher draft pick, and when they lose a lot with him next year.
Yep. Let's check out the Super Bowl real quick and see what the odds are here. Chiefs -1 and the over. Let's do the over under. How about that? 48.5 over under for this game. How about that?
I got Chiefs no matter what. I mean, they're not going to lose. You know,
okay.
I got Chiefs.
But with the over under combined score, 48.5 or less, I'm going under. Even though I feel like overs hit more often in the Super Bowl.
They do.
Going under.
And last time they were in, they scored over 35 points.
A bajillion points. But last time they played each other in the playoffs and in the regular season, it was 21-17. I'm picking the Eagles to win because I'm stupid. 23-11.
It's like 2 years ago you picked them.
I did, and I can't. And now I'm like, well, now they have Barkley and Fangio. I have to. But I'm going to be wrong again. BetUS wants to know if I need help. They're so helpful. No, I don't, but I appreciate you. Thank you, BetUS.
Thank you.
Isn't that great?
Thank you.
Awesome. It's so awesome. So yeah, those are the odds. I'm going under on that one, but I think Jay feels like it's going to be the over. He's going Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs, man.
That's what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's talk pick 11. What do you think the Niners should do? I mean, they got a lot of different. They have a need at every single position. They could take a tight end or a running back. They could do whatever they want. What would you do?
Will Campbell or bust, to be honest.
Will Campbell or bust. Why do you like as a fellow offensive lineman? What do you respect about Will Campbell?
His physicality and the way he speaks. He's very vocal and he's very much a leader in the LSU locker room.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's how I feel about how Will Campbell is. That's what I look up to for sure.
Just plug him in at right tackle. End of story.
Yeah, and then wait till Trent leaves and kind of like how they did. What's the guy out of Iowa at Tampa Bay? What's it?
Worse.
Yeah,
same thing. Yeah, yes.
The left after a few years, once the other old ass left tackle they got over there, they used to have.
Yeah, what was his name? I forget his name, but yeah, I know what you mean. Donovan Smith.
Donovan Smith, yeah, and they plugged him over there once he left. Yeah, I think that's what they should do if they draft him, which they should draft him.
What if he's not available?
Banks, get the guy out of Texas.
You like Banks?
Yeah, I think go trenches. Either O-line or D-line. That's what makes your team. O-line.
Yeah, and I feel like the thing about O-line is it's harder to find really good starting offensive linemen because on D-line, you can platoon defensive linemen. You could have the 2-down run stuffer, the 3rd down designated pass rusher, but on the offensive line, you got to play all the snaps. You got to play all the snaps.
You got to know this. You got to know this. You got to know that. You got to know what you got to know the technique he's in, what you're about to do, what the guy next to you is about to do. You got to be real smart to play O-line.
Yep. And it's so it's hard to find good ones. If you're trying to find one in free agency, starters start at $20 million a year just because they're hard to find. And if you're going to draft them and develop them, it's rare to find a Dominic Pooney who's going to be a good starter as a rookie. A lot of times they take a year or two to develop the strength and the mental acuity to do all of it.
And
so
it's
a long season. You see with the Eagles, a lot of times they'll draft an offensive lineman a year or two before they need one. They drafted Cam Jerkins a year or two because they knew Kelsey was going to retire. So you got McKivitz going to be a free agent next year. Trent Williams is going to be 37. I think you got to start preparing.
Yeah, they should get a tackle right. They should get one right now. Just like when you're
they would have gotten Roger Rosengarten last year in round 2 if he had been available, but he wasn't, and they got Green instead, who's a good player. But this year, if it's not round 1, it's got to be round 2. And it can't be a guard. It's got to be a freaking tackle.
Yeah, they haven't drafted a tackle since 2021.
Yep, Jalen Moore, who's trying to leave. Yep.
He'll be a free agent next month. So it's like, are they going to resign him? Or
are they going to draft him? You know what they're going to do? Well, they don't have a 5th-round pick. They'll trade down to round 5. No. They got in trouble last year.
Yeah, they had to give up that pick. Yeah.
They had to give up that 5th-round pick, which almost felt like the league being like, oh, we know you guys are good in round 5. That's the one we're taking. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the only round they're good at drafting 5th.
I could see the Niners waiting until day 3 to take an offensive tackle and just kind of taking one to say they took one. Hey, we got McKivitz in round 5. You got McKivitz in round 5. Like,
And he's allowed like 30 sacks in 30 games. 21 sacks in like 34 games.
That's right.
That's who they want.
That's right. I looked it up this morning. Everyone's like, oh man, McKivitz improved so much this year. Dude, he gave up 8 sacks, which is true. It's a big improvement from the 13 he gave up in 2023.
He did improve.
Like
8 sacks, though. 8. That's a lot.
And the quarterback's mobile. Oof. Yeah.
Kind of sad, to be honest.
Kind of sad.
And wasn't he a guard? Didn't they draft him to be a guard type?
Yeah, and they cut him, and he was on their practice squad, and now he's a starting right tackle for them. You could do a lot better. I don't think he would start for any of the other teams that are in the playoffs, but that's my take.
Brendo and him wouldn't start on the Ravens. They wouldn't start on the Chargers. Anywhere. They wouldn't start.
So Salah's back. Gus Bradley's here. Both guys are linebacker coaches at heart. These are guys who, Gus Bradley drafted and developed Bobby Wagner once upon a time. These guys have been doing it for a long time. They could re-sign Dre Greenlaw. I'm sure the Niners will give him an offer, probably a 1-year deal. If he gets a 2 or 3 year offer somewhere else, maybe Washington, he could go. Do you think Salah will draft a linebacker? How high? What do you think?
I think maybe like round 2, round 3, where they picked Fred Warner. I think they'll try to get another Fred Warner type guy. Round 2, round 3. I don't know. Maybe many linebackers in the draft, but that's where I think they'll go.
I just remember that in 2017, his first year as a D coordinator, he got here and the defense was awful, and especially the run defense. And I think his attitude was, it's the first thing I got to fix. We can't stop anything if we can't stop the run. So he drafted Reuben Foster in round 1. Now, it wasn't just him. It was the whole organization, but I'm sure he signed off on it. Well, I'm not sure. I think he did. So that's, look, it didn't work out, but you could see if I need to stop the run, I need a killer weak side linebacker who's fast and violent. And it didn't end up being Foster, it ended up being Greenlaw. So I wonder if that's a position he feels like, well, if I found Greenlaw in round 5, I can find the next Greenlaw in round 5. Or if he's like, nah, this is a super serious position. We got to take this as soon as possible. I wonder.
I think they'll bring back Greenlaw. I think Salah's pushing for them to re-sign him. Because he's really only had 2 seasons to coach him. So in his last season,
you think he is? I wonder if Salah's like, I can draft the next one. I can draft the next one. Like, yeah, make him an offer, but I also really like this one guy from this one school, and I love scouting the position, and you probably should get someone who's 22 or 23. Probably. Although, maybe Salah likes D Winters.
He might like him. He might
take D's one of these young players in the Niners. It's hard to get a read on because he hasn't gotten the opportunities because he's been playing behind bad veterans.
Yeah. He shined when he's been in there, though. I think he shined.
He's explosive.
Yeah.
Hits hard. He's fast. He may not always be in the right spot, but how can you expect some young player to always be in the right spot when he doesn't get consistent playing time? It's too bad they didn't just let him play this year in a lost season. They really had to give it all to Devondre Campbell. What do you think he's doing right now?
Chilling. I think that's what he's doing right now. It's over. It's over for Campbell. He's not signing anywhere else. He's not coming back.
He's at home and his wife's trying to get him to clean the house. He's like, no, I quit. I refuse. I'm not doing it.
I quit. I'm not playing anymore.
I quit.
I want to play. I deserve to play.
You know what? Is it true? I heard that the reason the Niners had the back-to-back, and Devondre, if you're watching, don't sue me or get mad at me, but I heard that the reason the Niners had back-to-back 12-man on the field penalties in Green Bay is because they were trying to get him out of the game and he refused.
I think that might be true. I mean, it makes sense because back-to-back, and they try to get him, I think that might have would,
What would happen to you if your coach tried to sub you out of the game mid-drive and you refused?
Get on my ass.
Have you ever seen a player do that?
Yeah, a couple of linebackers actually in high school.
Linebackers?
In high school. Why are you taking me out, bro? Stuff like that. Yeah.
Really?
I've seen it.
Did that make you laugh when you're on the field? Get off the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not getting the job done. That's why.
Get off. Now.
All right, man. Free agency starts in a month. Who do you think they should bring back? Who do you think they should not bring back?
That's the Greenlaw. I think they should let Huff go and roll with Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa at safety. They're both strong safeties to me. I think they're both, hidden safeties. They're not, a deep middle third safety. So I think they'll roll with them too. Let Hufanga go get a multi-year deal somewhere else, and then who else? Who else are the free agents on their list?
We got Banks, Dobbs, Brandon Allen.
Let Dobbs and get some more backup quarterbacks. I think they should bring Trey Lance. I would support that. Bring back Trey Lance.
Whether it's Trey Lance or Justin Fields or Daniel Jones, I think they should bring in some backup who can actually run.
Yeah, who can move.
A little bit of a running. I think every team should have a dual threat rushing threat on their roster now.
Yeah,
have to.
That's where the league's going.
What do you think's going to happen to Trey Lance?
I think he'll sign somewhere. Be a backup. He's a glorified backup now. I don't think.
My prediction is Washington. I think Adam Peters brings him to Washington.
I agree with that. I think he'll go. It's all about knowing people in the league. So I think he'll go somewhere where they know who who they drafted.
Look, let's go back to the defensive backfield. Travarius Ward's pretty much said he's not coming back for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, the Niners just paid Lenore, and they generally don't pay two cornerbacks big money at the same time.
Because they generally don't. And they had DJ Reed,
Sherman. That it was Ward. Sherman, and now it's Lenore.
And Lenore. That's 3 cornerbacks in 6-7 years.
So the question is, are they going to pay for a safety? They did spend on Jimmy Ward for a while. He was making about $10 million a year. Then he left, and now they've had guys on rookie deals. Hufanga's up. He's 25 years old. He's been hurt a lot the last couple of years. What do you think they do with Hufanga?
I think they let him walk. I think they're so confident in Malik and Jair Brown because they started. Jair Brown started a Super Bowl, so I think they got experience. They'll roll with them 2 guys and let him walk. If he has no market, I think they'll bring him back though.
I think the problem for Hufanga is that he doesn't really have a relationship with Saleh and Bradley.
Yeah.
He was drafted when D'Amico was the coordinator, and you don't know how Saleh and Bradley look at Hufanga. They could look at him as, well, it's not really the safety that I would like. His skill set, maybe he's a little slower than I would. Maybe I'd like someone more like Jimmy Ward, who I've used in this system and had success. So I don't know. Maybe they're not investing in Hufanga.
Maybe not. I think they'll get another Jimmy Ward type. That's what I think. I mean, that's what I would do if I was, Robert Saleh. Bring in another younger Jimmy Ward. Not bring back Jimmy Ward himself, but get a young guy.
When Saleh was here the first time, he wanted speed at safety. He drafted Tavarius Moore, who was a 4-3 guy. Had Jimmy Ward at safety. Moved him from corner to safety specifically. 4-4 guy. Now you got 4-6 guys at safety. Even Jair Brown isn't particularly fast. So I could see Saleh drafting or signing a safety. Justin Reed, Javon Holland if they can afford him. I could see them doing that.
I would go get Reed, spend some money on him, but I think he would want to stay.
My only question with Reed is would he want to come to the Niners, because I feel like his brother doesn't like the Niners. But maybe that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, maybe it's not.
All right, I want to show you something, a Nick Saban story, and I want to ask you a question about how it applies to the Niners. This was sent to me by Coach Noah Johnson, who I used to stream with and still a good friend of mine. So I'm going to show this real quick. Hold on. Okay. Tell me if you can hear it.
We were watching guys, and I remember there was a kid from Dallas. It was an elite.
Yeah, I got you. I hear
guy with kick returner, and then I kept bringing him small running back, whatever it was. Tyreek Hill was in this group. Tyreek Hill was coming out of junior college and at Garden City, and he was in this group. There was a bunch of guys, right? And he was just in one of his moods one day, and he had enough. It was him and I in the room, and it was something you'll laugh at me, but to this day, anybody that's ever coached with me has heard the story, but it's really true. And he goes, hey. He just had enough. He said, hey, stop bringing me these small motherfuckers. I'm tired of watching these small motherfuckers. I want big son of a bitches. I want them to be big. Do you understand me? Because let me explain something to you. In the fourth quarter, those small, fast guys, they're going to get tired and they're going to slow down. But you know what? Those big son of bitches, they're still going to be big. So from
that sounds just like him.
So
that was too accurate.
Y'all, but he was yelling. He was yelling. He was pissed. But I learned from that.
That is gold.
So
coachable moment.
I always like to recruit big son of bitches. That's my thing. No.
All right. So the thing is, the reason that caught my ear is the Niners have been talking about finishing since they lost the first Super Bowl to the Chiefs. And that's what basically Nick Saban was talking about. It's like, you brought me Tyreek Hill. Great, man. I mean, I want Derrick Henry. I want to be able to finish these national championship games out in the fourth quarter, something the Niners haven't been able to do. I mean, their offensive line, kind of finesse. Their running back, kind of finesse. Their quarterback, kind of small. I mean, if they're trying to finish, Mr. Offensive Lineman, what do you think? Would a little bit of size help?
I think so. Yeah, I think it applies to them by bringing in some bigger defensive tackles, because I think they've gotten small on the defensive line since last year. Because Armstead's gone, Buckner's been gone, Kinlaw's left last year. They had huge guys in the middle, and it frees up Bosa and the other edge. So I think they should.
Now it's like Kevin Givens, Malik Collins,
Jordan Elliott, 6'2", 6'3"
Leonard
guys.
Leonard
Floyd.
Yeah.
It's like they need those monsters in the middle, like those three.
Jake Brendel's hella small at center.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, no disrespect, hell of a player, but didn't exactly play his best at the end of the season last year. Wore down.
Yeah, he's a small running back, 5'10", 5'11".
The Niners are kind of a finesse team, and then you got the Dolphins, who are like the bizarro version of the Niners over in South Beach. They're definitely a finesse team. I mean, I think if the Niners are thinking about finishing, they got to get. Now, Isaac Guerendo's bigger, but he's not a big bruising running back. That was Jordan Mason. I almost forgot his name, man. He's going to be gone soon.
They need to bring him back for sure. They need
to get a bigger offensive line. They need to get a bigger defensive line, like you said, dude. Those two right there. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles are huge in the trenches.
Jalen
They're not
Carter.
Just good in the trenches. They're huge.
They're huge guys. They got the whole Georgia defense.
Yep.
The entire Georgia defense. And they had that success at Georgia because of all those guys on defense. And now look, they're in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, something for the Niners to think about. I feel like Kyle Shanahan often puts together finesse teams. Like when he was in Washington, his offensive line was also small. He always has these guys that are good for the outside zone play. I'm sure you know, like, do you guys run outside zone?
We have a version of it. Yeah, outside zone, inside zone.
So if you're a guard and you have to reach the 3 technique on your outside shade, that's a tough block. That reach block, it's a tough block.
They won't even put you in that position where I've been at. That's a very hard block.
It's a very hard block, and the Niners guards are in that position all the time. So, to be able to have a chance, you got to be really quick. And so now you're looking at guys who aren't going to be driving defensive players off the ball or particularly anchoring that well. And that's the position they're always in. And it works until it's the fourth quarter and you know the Niners have to pass or you know they have to run and the defense can kind of just tee off.
Yeah, that being in those positions as offensive lineman is really hard because you would even ask the tackle to give a hand and then let the guard work up to the 3 technique.
That's right.
That's how
right.
you finesse it right there. That's how you try to get past.
Joseph Ehrenberg says Bradley hire equals Staley hire will do nothing. Staley, I can't imagine he's going to be here. He's going to get paid to do nothing this year. It's always
Is he still here? Is he still there?
They said that they were going to get another guy, but I haven't heard that they moved on from him yet. I haven't heard that they've officially fired him. I also haven't heard that they've named Clay Kugat the offensive coordinator. What are they waiting for?
Yeah, it's like you interview some guys, you broke the rule. You interview some guys, now hire this guy now. Come on now.
Come on now. Christian Ayala says, hey, Kyle, rotate your running backs just like the Harbaugh era. Gore, Kendall Hunter, LaMichael James, and Dixon. Stop being stubborn and hurting your backs.
I think they need some bigger. They like the topic right now. They need to get bigger backs. They need backs that last all season.
To me, also, like you can't just have one running back and compete. Like the Lions have 2, the Eagles have 2, and one of them's their quarterback. The Ravens have 2, and one of them's their quarterback. You just have Christian. He's great, but some teams have Barkley and Hurts. Some teams have Henry and Jackson. I mean, also Christian's getting older. I don't know. Do you think the Niners are going to draft a running back again this year, or are they going to say we got Christian and Garendo and we're good?
I think they'll get another one. I think they'll get 2 and cut 1 like they did Sermon a couple years ago. They'll get 2. They get 2 almost every single season. I think they'll get.
How early will Kyle Shanahan take the running back?
Round 3, just like he's got every other running back. Round 3.
Last year, he restrained himself until round 4, but then he had to trade up for him.
He did.
Too bad they didn't get Bucky Brooks last year. As good as Isaac Garendo is.
Man. If they would have had him, I think they would have been all good without McCaffrey if they had Bucky Irvin.
Did I say Bucky Brooks? Did I say Bucky Brooks? I said Bucky Brooks. Bucky Irvin. Bucky Brooks is an analyst for NFL.com. He's good too, though.
He is. He's good.
Well, look, man, if you guys are just tuning in, Gus Bradley to the Niners. It doesn't seem like the Niners have given him an official title yet. We're thinking assistant head coach, but clearly this is the move they needed to win the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl or bust now. They got it.
They got Gus Bradley, man. They got him. They got another.
Forget about it. That's it. Jay, man, thanks a lot, dude. Great stuff.
Yes, sir. Just hit me up, man.
For sure. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back soon.
Be back soon, guys. Yes, sir.